Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome to another Braveheart Open Mind Live and a sort of union between my series on journaling out loud and my series on coaching. Because today we are going to be talking about a topic that is so close to my heart and something that I have spent almost 3 years on repairing and healing and moving through. And I think that it is also a topic that is sweeping the nation because it is super relevant. So today we are going to talk about teaching and the trauma that arises from being a public education teacher and how to leave teaching. And all of these things are topics and ideas that have been bubbling inside of me for years, ever since I left teaching. And I'm fortifying myself with delicious chamomile to keep me sweetly calm and to keep me fully grounded and in a place of self-love with this, because it's a topic that can carry a lot of shame, it can carry a lot of guilt, it can really just weigh heavily on your nervous system, on your mind. It can bring a lot of emotions that get stuck in your body. And I've been working so hard on repairing and healing mentally from it and healing emotionally from it. And most recently, I've been working on integrating somatic healing by practicing Kundalini yoga in helping myself to fully integrate from leaving teaching and to fully heal from the trauma that I experienced inside of the teaching world. And I did not make myself an outline to go with this. So if you are in this with me, either live or on the replay, we're going on a full out journey together, because this felt like one of those conversations that I needed to have for myself. It felt like one of those things that needed to stay a little wild and a little unruly so that I can say exactly what I need to say as it arises within me to say it. And that feels really beautiful and freeing, especially on the heels of coming out of teaching in a world that seems so rigid and has so many expectations, and you literally live your life by a bell schedule telling you what to do and when to do it. So what I wanted to do here is talk a little bit about the traumatic feelings that have been rising to my attention as of late, and the things that I've been working with my therapist and my Kundalini coach to help me move through, and working with myself and my own self-coaching on this so that I can move through it and be a more powerful, grounded version of myself, more of the me that I know that I get to be through this process of healing. And so where I want to kind of start this conversation with this very lengthy intro. I have a lot to say about this and a lot to say about talking about this. So go grab a beverage. We're going to be here for a minute. what I want to start talking about is what I have been experiencing currently, which is, or not currently, but like for the last 3 years, is this lack of wanting to show up at like a scheduled time or place. You'll notice that I typically don't tell you when I'm going live. I don't say that I'm like, go live at 10 a.m. every Wednesday or something like that. And it's because I spent 7 years of my life having to show up whether or not I wanted to, and having to show up in a capacity where I could not be myself. And that was an experience of trauma. I've spoken it through with my therapist, and being subjected to all of the requirements and constraints and all of the requests that are made from you as a teacher. And on top of that, being required to show up in a capacity where you cannot be yourself is really traumatic. And that's to say nothing of the trauma that teachers have experienced in the last 2 years going through COVID and all of the other extra asks that have compounded on the decades of past crap, right? Like, we're in this giant quagmire of teachers being entirely burnt out in the ways that they already had been burnt out, and then a global pandemic on top of that, and feeling emotionally responsible for their students' well-being on top of that. And I can't even speak to all of that because I pieced out of teaching in 2019, in May of 2019. So I didn't even experience being a teacher through COVID. So it's only gotten worse since I left, is what I'm trying to convey here. So, for the beautiful human beings who are in the world of teaching, or for the humans listening now who know a teacher, who love a teacher, I'm certain that you know that the realm of teaching right now is a cesspool of crap expectations that no teacher could possibly meet all of. No teacher could possibly meet all of the expectations that are being asked of them right now and in the past when I was teaching. It's impossible. And we're given this catch-22 situation, or given this situation where you're between a rock and a hard place in being told all of these beautiful, juicy best practices, and you're taught how to impact students and how to truly make a difference, and not given any fucking time to do it, and not given the resources to do it, and being given so many students to be responsible for and to love on, that you don't have the capacity to love on all of them using the best practices that you know will benefit them. And that is horrific to experience if you are a loving person who gives a shit about your students. It is horrific to ask a human being to teach them how to be so good at their jobs, to teach them how to impact so beautifully, how to take a child and help them to deeply learn and ingrain and feel confident, and then not give them the space and resources to do that, and to hamstring them at every single turn and opportunity against being able to be that person that they were taught that they should be, they were given the knowledge to be, and not the opportunity to utilize all of that knowledge, to put it into practice. That is fucking bullshit. let me tell you, like, I am here to tell you that that fucking sucks. And traditionally, I don't love dropping F-bombs in these lives, but, like, that's just how I feel. There are no other words to describe how much that fucking sucks. If you are a person who wants to be a good person, who wants to be a good teacher, who wants to impact and have a beautiful effect on this gorgeous planet that we live in, this space rock that magically has the capacity to hold life and pleasure and experiences, right? If you want to be that person, to then teach them how to be that person and then do everything possible to not allow for them to be successful as that person, that is criminal. That is horrifying. That is one of the most unkind things that you could do to a person, is show them exactly how they can shine and take away all of their opportunity to do so. And I will say that there are teachers out there who are learning the best practices and have the capacity to represent the best practices to the best of their ability, and they're doing it, and they've been doing it for years, and some of them may be approaching retirement, and some of them may be first-year teachers, and that's amazing. And then you have to ask yourself, what does the rest of their life look like? What do their relationships with their family look like? How frequently are they ignoring their friends? How frequently are they ignoring their own needs, their own routes to pleasure, to enjoying their own life? So what you're essentially doing, and I say you, meaning the system of public education in America as it stands right now, what America is asking of our teachers is to give everything or to be a fucking failure. Those are your only two options. You can give all of yourself or you can feel like a failure. And that is unfucking fair. That is radically unfair. And what this causes within the community of teaching is this repetitive trauma, day in and day out, where you have to show up and fucking fail, or show up and give your all and have nothing left for any other areas of your life. And that sucks. And people wonder why we see teachers leaving the industry. In fact, you guys, I fucking love that we see teachers leaving the industry. I love it. Not for children. I don't love it for them because they're getting the raw end of the deal. Right? But I love it for those teachers. For those teachers who get to reclaim their lives, to reclaim their sense of being able to impact the world in a beautiful way that doesn't run them ragged, that doesn't bleed them dry. So what I would love to do is help teachers leave. And that sounds very controversial to past Kayla and maybe to you if you are listening to this right now. I would love to help teachers leave the profession because it's unfair and they deserve better. You deserve, if you are a teacher listening to this right now, you deserve to live your life from a place of beauty and abundance and love. You deserve to live your life without feeling hamstringed and hobbled against your own sense of success and fulfillment. You deserve that. That is fact. Human beings have capacity for pleasure, and they deserve to feel pleasure. And teachers right now are wound so tightly, more tightly even than I know from my experiences because of COVID. Teachers are wound so tightly that they are in full survival mode. Many of them can't even slow down enough to think beyond the thought of this fucking sucks into their capacity to get out of the situation, right? So if I do nothing more in this live than express myself for myself and put out a message into the universe that helps someone see beyond this sucks into it's okay to leave what sucks, then I will have accomplished so fucking much in this beautiful life. It feels cathartic to say these things out loud. And that is the journaling out loud aspect of this live, is because it is healing for me to finally be able to say all of this. It is beautiful for me to invite other human beings into leaving teaching so that they can feel as beautifully healed as I do now. I didn't even know how traumatized I was, how anxious and riddled with trauma and suppressed emotions until at least 6 months after I left teaching. And I had these feelings of relaxed joy. And I turned to my husband and I was like, is this how people have been feeling this whole time? Is this what it feels like to live life without anxiety and stress? And he was like, yeah, this is how normal people feel. I had no idea. After 7 years in the profession, I had no idea that I didn't have to hold tension in my neck and back. I had no idea that I didn't have to be constantly aware of oncoming stimulus that could change radically the way that I had to live my life. I had no idea. And 6 months after I left teaching, when I finally had relaxed and my nervous system had begun to reset itself, I finally could turn and look at my world and be like, this is what it's like to live a life without anxiety. This is what it's like to live a life of pleasure where I get to decide what I want to do. And it was magical. Even just that. Letting my body, my nervous system relax from all of the stimulus that can happen in your life as a teacher was life-changing. And now that I'm allowing myself to dig into and work with some of the even deeper textures of what it feels like to heal from the trauma of teaching, it feels even better. It feels even more pleasurable to relish my time and my freedom over my time. And I know that I, especially as an entrepreneur, have like a bomb ability to have freedom over my time. I'm my own boss. My boss could give me the rest of the afternoon off because she decides it, because I'm my own boss. And when you leave the teaching profession and you are able to have freedom over your own time, that's amazing. And even if you go to another job and you have another boss and you have other responsibilities, there is zero way that that could be as traumatic as everything that's asked of you as a teacher. That just is the way it is, right? You get to have choice when you leave about how you live your life and how you spend your time. You, my love, get to be in charge of your own pleasure, your own sense of freedom. And that is so magical in a way that you are not allowed to access when you are in the world of teaching. You just are not able to. Or you feel like a failure, and that is traumatizing in and of itself. So, I guess I would say that I'm inviting you now to leave teaching. Leave. Go. You are already qualified to be a corporate trainer somewhere. You have maybe perhaps more qualifications than a corporate trainer because you have been taught the beautiful efficacy of best practices on how people learn. So go. Train on something that lights you up. Go. Marinate on what you would want your own business to be. If I had $1 for every teacher who has the capacity to be an amazing life coach in this world, I'd be a fucking millionaire, like several thousand times over, right? Like billionaire probably. There are so many opportunities in which you are qualified as a professional human being, as a human who has stretched their arms so wide to hold so many expectations. You have the capacity to go do something else. And if this is speaking to you on an emotional level where you're just like, yes, I would love to go do something else, and you're also feeling those intense feelings of guilt and feeling those intense feelings of shame and feeling like it's taboo to even be listening to me speak these things right now, I get you, because that is exactly how I felt when I left. There's this stigma in teaching that if you leave teaching, you're like a bad person who didn't care enough about the kids. And like, that's fucked up. That's not okay. To make a person feel like they can't have personal happiness and personal freedom because they're supposed to care about the kids. Do I think about the kids that I taught almost every day? Yeah, I do. I even had a former student earlier this week join one of my lives and comment, and it made me so happy to see her being a successful adult. Like, it just made my heart like burst with happiness and like enjoyment. It's okay to love the kids. Like, they're worth so much. Why do you think there are still teachers in teaching right now? Because there is so much goodness that can be found in impacting young human beings and helping them to grow up into magically beautiful adult human beings. And also, it's okay if doing it for the kids isn't worth it to you. That's okay. That's fine. You are also allowed to be a happy human being. You are also allowed to experience personal pleasure and personal freedoms in your life. It is okay if you leave teaching and you think about the kids every single day. Because the love that you have for the youth of America is never going to go anywhere. It just means that you also get to love yourself at the same time. And I very strongly believe that this system of education will not change unless there are no more teachers to continue exploiting. Or so few teachers that they can't carry it across their backs anymore. The system of public education in America is exploitation. It is traumatic. It is unfair to ask the teachers who are teaching to do everything that they're doing and to either break the rest of their lives to be successful or to feel like a failure and to not feel fulfilled in being the teacher that they desire to be. So do you want to impact change on the public education system? Remove their ability to exploit teachers. Quit. Go do something else. And when the system is ready for you to come back to it because it's changed, then go back and love on the youth of America because your love is still there. You leaving does not mean that you don't love kids and love the opportunity to impact them. And if you decide to stay because it's worth it to you, mad props to you. I can't conceive of doing that, so I can't speak to understanding that decision. But I love you if that's what you choose. I do. I love you. I've created resources for you to help minimize stress with my Education Insiders resources. But my passion no longer lies in only creating resources for teachers to make the shitstorm that they're experiencing just a tiny 1% better or 0.5% better. I'm no longer interested in that. I want to help you leave. I want to help you get out. I want to help you experience deep and delicious relaxation and pleasure in a way that you haven't been able to feel since you began your teaching career, however long that is, 25 years, 7 years, 1 year. Get out. Get out. It's better out here. You can thrive. Fuck survival. Thrive. You deserve it. You are allowed to have it. Choosing it doesn't make you a bad person. Processing shame and guilt, which says that you should be considered a bad person for leaving, is something that I can help with because I've walked that road. My job as a coach is to help you process those in a way that propels you forward. And also, if you feel that you need more in-depth help with that, go get an amazing therapist who can help you process trauma. Because I will tell you that coaching alone is not enough to help you fully integrate everything. Go get a therapist. Let them help you process your old emotions. And then get a coach to help you propel beautifully into the thriving that is possible for you. It is so possible for you to be able to feel successful, to know what the best practices are for whatever your chosen field is after you leave teaching, and to be successful and also thrive in your beautiful life and experience personal freedom and personal pleasure. You deserve it. Every human being on this planet, regardless of whether they're a teacher or a construction worker, or this list could get really long, regardless, they deserve to feel pleasure and happiness and joy. They deserve to thrive inside of their own lives. You deserve it. You deserve it, despite all of the old programming that at the same time it makes you feel guilty for deserving it. You have the capacity to hold both of those truths for a while. That truth that you deserve to thrive, and that truth that you feel shame for doing so. I held that for 2.5 years, and I'm shedding the last of it. It is okay to hold that duality while you get out, and then get help, and then heal, and then thrive. Allow yourself to access all of the pleasure that you have been denied for the tenure of your teaching career. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I wanted to say, but I think that pretty much covers it. If you want to talk about leaving the teaching profession, I can help you. And if it feels weird to comment publicly on this because of the shame and guilt and like stigma around it, message me privately, DM me. I can help you. You can help you. Because that's like the beautiful key of coaching, is that like, I don't really help you. I just help you to see how you can help you. And that is beautiful self-empowerment in and of itself. So, my darling sweet friend. Oh, I also have a resource that I made like a year ago called the Career Transition Workbook. And I made it because I wasn't ballsy enough to call it the How to Leave Teaching Handbook. When I made it last year, I wasn't quite like set fire to like the public education system right then. I mean, I was on the inside, but I was not ready to publicly unveil myself in that way, but I am now. So I will post the Career Transition Workbook. You can get it for free. It's a thing that I think that you deserve to be able to use to help you to consider what you might want to move on to next. So I'll post that in the comments in a little bit. And you'll see it called the Career Transition Workbook, but know that it is, in its essence, how to leave teaching. That's what it is. The How to Leave Teaching Handbook. You'll find that below. You'll find immense permission from me, always, to pursue a life of thriving, because you deserve it. I love you so, so much. I'm so happy that we got to have this conversation. For me, for you, for us, for everyone who could be impacted by this, and for sweet past Kayla, who spent 7 years doing her best and always feeling like a failure. I'm glad I did this live for her. Yeah, I'm in the energy of being so beautifully blessed by my own courage and self-empowerment, my own brave heart and my own open mind. And you can achieve this beautiful self-peace and this beautiful healing for you also. You deserve it. DM me with both of those parts of you who want to leave and also feel guilty. We can work with that. I did it. You can do it. It's possible. All right, my loves. From my heart to yours, I am sending you so fucking much love. You deserve it. And I love you so much. Have a great day.